Slope-intercept. That's what we're going to talk about now. Now, 7th grade pre-AP, we're going to be talking a little bit more in depth, more than you need to know, because you're going to learn this again next year in algebra. Algebra, this should be really easy for you. So let's try it. First, we're going to use slope and the y-intercept to graph something. So let's say the slope is a half. That means my rise is 1 and my run is 2. My y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. So here's my graph, and it crosses at -1. So this is where -1 is for y. That's my y-intercept. So my slope is 1 over 2. That means I rise 1 from that point and go over 2. So 1 over 2. Here's my new point. Right there. And then I can go up 1 over 2 again. Here's my other new point. Now I have 3 points in my graph. Always make 3 points in your graph so you can draw a line through it. Once I have my line, that's not a line. Here's a line. I could draw a line straight through it. Make sure my arrows are going both directions. Alright, and that's it. So you got a point, your y-intercept, and you graph from there. Now, here's y-intercept form. This is an equation preset for you so you know what it is. Y-intercept form. The reason why it's called y-intercept form is because this is my y-intercept and this is my slope. Another name for this is called slope-intercept form. The reason why it's called slope-intercept form is also because, there's a slope and the y-intercept. So slope-intercept form. Now, I've already drawn some arrows, so make sure you jot those down. The y is just y values, and the x are just x values. They're like the ordered pairs on the graph. B stands for the y-intercept. M stands for slope. Alright, now we're going to use that equation to write an equation that represents a line that has a slope of 1/2 and the y-intercept of -1. So, first of all, I'm going to write y equals mx plus b, because that's the equation I'm going to use. Now, what's my slope? My slope is 1/2. So when I rewrite this, I'm going to put a 1/2 for m, x plus b. Now, what's my y-intercept? My y-intercept is -1. So I'm going to rewrite it again with my y-intercept as -1. And that's all there is to it. This is the equation. The equation that represents the line that has a slope of 1/2 and y-intercept of -1. It's that easy. So let's do another example. We're going to write an equation for this line. So y equals mx plus b, which is my slope-intercept form. Alright. Now on this graph I have to pick 2 points to look at. That way I can count my rise and my run. So here's 1 point. And I'm not going to pick this one because it's in the middle of a box. So I don't know if that's a half or 3/4 or what. So I'm going to go until it actually hits a cross in a spot that I can count, like right there. Alright. So now we have to find m, our slope, which is rise over run. So what is my rise? I rose 1, 2, and my run is 1. So my slope is 2 over 1, or just 2. So over here I'm going to rewrite my equation, y equals 2x plus b. Now b represents my y-intercept. So which one of these crosses the y-axis? Well, it crosses right here. So what value is that for y? It's 2. So that means my b equals 2. My y-intercept is 2. That equation represents that line. Here, let me show you something. This line also crosses right here at this point. Let's see what that point is. It's negative 2, comma, negative 2. X is negative 2 and y is negative 2. Now, if I'm right, this equation will give me that answer. Here, I'll show you what I mean. Y equals 2 plus 2. Now, if I plug in this into here, I should get this as my answer. Let's try it out. Y equals 2 times negative 2 is negative 4 plus 2. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. So, this equation right here was my answer. It's my equation that I wrote for the following line. It also gives me all the possible answers on all the points that are on that line. Alright, what is the slope and y-intercept of the following equation? So we have y equals mx plus b form. We want it to be like that. That way we can easily tell what slope is and the y-intercept is. So algebra kind of knows what I'm going to do already because I kind of told them yesterday, or if you're watching this today, it's today. If you're watching this tomorrow, it'll be yesterday. Anyway, whatever. So, I'm going to solve this for y. Now, 7th grade pre-AP, this might be a little hard for you to understand, so I'm going to kind of go slow here because we haven't really gone over this yet. I want y by itself, so that means I'm going to have to move this to the other side. The way I can remove it from this side is by subtracting it from itself, because 3x minus 3x is 0. Goes away. I'm going to subtract it from this side. So I get 2y equals, now on this side I can't put these two together because they're not like terms. One has an x and one doesn't. So I'm just going to rewrite them. Negative 3x plus 12. Now, alright, I'm going to erase this and start over so I can make it a little smaller and make it a little neater. But I'm going to kind of go back over it so that people can understand me. Alright, so here's my equation again, much smaller. Okay, so I have room to work. So earlier we had to move, oh my gosh, no, that's not my equation. Let me change these. This was a y and this was an x. Okay, now we had to move this to the other side. To do that, we're going to subtract it from both sides. So minus 3x. And we have 2y equals minus 3x plus 12. Okay. Now, I want to get y by itself. So, if I covered this up, how would I get rid of the 2? Well, it's 2 times y, so I would get rid of it by dividing by 2. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. Now when you do this, you have to divide every number by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, so that goes away. We're left with y. And then negative 3 divided by 2, we're going to leave it as negative 3 divided by 2, x. And then 12 divided by 2 is 6. So my slope, now it looks just like this. My slope is what's in front of x, which is negative 3 over 2. And my y-intercept, here's my slope, my y-intercept is 6. So b is equal to 6. And that's it. That's all you have to do. And that was actually a pretty complicated problem because it had fractions in it. So guys, make sure you rewatch this if you have any trouble, and we'll talk about it tomorrow in class. That's it, folks.